looking out 10 years or so, it's probably a lot more of the same, but I do think maybe quieter and simpler will be a theme.
I think now there'll be a period of sort of maturity, which really will relate to sort of changes in the climate, I think. And I think different areas of the planet will start to take on different kind of architectural styles and different climatic responses, different architectural responses to climate change. And I think that will drive very interesting new building forms and building types in terms of the tall building.
It turns out that high density buildings probably are the most energy efficient types of buildings to be built in terms of the mass and global use of energy in them. And so I think you're going to see taller and taller buildings.
The design might be led more from the sustainable point of view going forward in the future. I'm not too sure we're really going to see as many super tall as you might think possibly.
We definitely think they're going to be bigger, just to be able to build them to these heights and have them be stable and have them be multi-use.
Looking way out into the future, 40, 50 years, I'm not quite sure exactly what they might look like, but one theme that I think will be very relevant is the interconnectivity of groups of buildings.
As we grow more vertical, we will also start to grow horizontally up in the air. So I see focus on getting buildings tall, but also how they are connected at another level. So we are creating new streets in the air as we begin to have more density and more people occupying high-rise towers. So no longer will they be just a monolith existing on its own, but they start to become connected like a family, like a network.
Developers look at buildings as one-off, this parcel of land development. And I think 30, 40, 50 years from now, in order to manage the resources, in order to manage the support infrastructure for not just one building, but a group of buildings, will be where and how the money is made.
Personally, I think what will happen is we'll start looking more to nature, a concept called biomimicry, and then we'll see more and more buildings that look like forms that could have been made naturally, naturally occurring forms that could have been made by nature.
A building is like a human body. A human body needs the pressure and also good environment. So that's why the tall building must meet this kind of requirement. That means the green building and sustainabilities, and also same time this energy savings.
Maybe we can move towards something that's a little bit more dramatic in form. I think, again, linking to the idea of the multi-use, if you see a vertical building almost like a vertical urban planning, then you start to see different forms come about where it becomes visible to the eye from the exterior on what the different spaces are. I think that's where you get a bit more playful, perhaps, in form.
I see as being sort of the next evolution of tall buildings, where they're going to get broader, but they're going to be more porous internally, so that people can really start to sense that they're participants in a community, not just stratified layer by layer.
Over the next few years, we'll see buildings growing taller, but in the same manner, there will be more spaces created for people to socialize. So you'll see more greening of the vertical greening within the buildings itself. So you have all these spaces for people to come together to create that relationship.
The end users, there will be a bigger focus on how the buildings are going to be used internally to keep them alive with a bit of soul, so they don't just look good from the outside. They've got an atmosphere on the inside. I think it's very important.